starting, and it is on the air, folks. The Lounge 242, the Summit League Preview Edition. Nathan Stacken there, Marcus Traxler there, and Charlie Hildebrand here as well. Gentlemen, it is 6 days out. There he is, 6 days out, Marcus. It's very exciting.
6 days out from the biggest event of the year, without question. One that I know we always look forward to. We have who's playing who. I'm not sure it changes how any of us necessarily view the tournament, but it's right around the corner, and I can definitely say it's probably the event I look forward to the most every year as far as the event you're going to be at. So.
Charlie, you'll be there?
Yes.
Hooray!
What the when's and the where?
Well, judging by what I've heard from other people, it sounds like maybe Sunday, even if South Dakota State's not playing. If that's the day that everybody's there, I think that will probably be the day that I'm there. And then I probably don't have to worry about getting tickets ahead of time if South Dakota State and USD aren't playing those days.
There we go.
Oh, just wait, though. All those Bison fans going to come down for that.
All 600 of them.
Oh, you're being too kind. You're being way too kind.
All 600
That's
of
true.
them.
They're really bad this year.
Maybe I should put in headphones.
Texas is back.
Is it back? Hard to say. Stacken, you're apparently nervous about Fort Wayne.
Have you seen the two games this year? The Jackson.
I have not seen them. But I have seen
the Sun.
Let me put this in here.
Okay.
I believe I should be able just to pop that in there. Everybody can hear me? Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
I think, this is the way it used to be. They've had big leads. Now I can hear myself. Huh?
Texas is still there.
Better.
No.
I can hear myself now.
I don't have an echo.
Hello?
Stacky, do you have headphones?
I don't.
It's probably because you're the only one that doesn't have headphones in right now. So we're all hearing the echo through yours.
God damn it. I'll find something.
All righty. Well, Stacken is nervous about Fort Wayne. Is that better?
Yeah.
He's nervous about Fort Wayne, which is reasonable, considering SDSU has had 20-point leads in the second half, I believe, of both games. And Fort Wayne has come back. The Frost Arena game a little closer than the game yesterday. But yet, see, I can hear myself. That's Stacken?
I don't know.
What is it? But Marcus, ultimately they win these games. Let's see what happens here when he plugs in.
There we go.
Alrighty, that's better.
Much better? Okay, good.
Ultimately, Stacken, they have won these games. So yesterday they won by, what was it, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. They came back.
Yeah.
Game in Frost Arena a little bit more hairy.
Yeah.
But ultimately they won. And they rarely lose in Sioux Falls. And
right. But I think if you thought of like who the most difficult opponent would be in the second round outside of USD,
if they get there, they got to get there first.
Okay, Western Illinois is not going to put up
anything.
Fort Wayne. Oh, yeah. Well, but Fort Wayne and North Dakota State play against one another, and I think when you have a rivalry game, and if Paul Miller,
Fort Wayne and India,
well, no,
just a couple thousand miles.
I'd say, yeah, not a couple thousand. Anyway, you're missing the whole point here.
Maybe, yeah.
If Paul Miller gets going, North Dakota State does have the capacity to beat SDSU. It was a close game in Fargo.
Not in Sioux Falls, they don't.
Well, they've done it before. I don't know.
Their teams that they did this before
are
were
way
a lot better.
I totally get it, but I'm just saying that anytime there's a rivalry in there, it does seem like things can kind of think it's kind of a toss-up. And with Fort Wayne, you get Conchar going, and like I said, the blown leads, and even going back to Thursday's game against USD, you have that 16-point lead in the second half at home, and USD comes storming back. It's like, and we've seen this with the Jackrabbits all this year. We saw it against Ole Miss. I'm blanking on
Colorado.
Wichita State. Yep. Colorado. Yes. All these teams, the Jackrabbits get out to such big leads, and then they just, I don't know if they get complacent, if they're just like, oh yeah, we'll take care of business here easily, and then the other team makes a run. I just, it concerns me a little bit that they would have the more difficult of the two teams in my mind than say a Denver or Oral Roberts.
Maybe because they quit hitting threes, Marcus. This seems like a team that is either they're hot and they're scoring 90, and if these threes aren't going, there's not much else they can do.
Yeah, I think their offense is basically Dom anywhere on the court, and then the three-pointers. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're amazing at driving to the basket. So that's, I think, maybe the one concern is that it's very easy for three-pointers to not go in a big game. Maybe you're a little tense. But I think, Stacken's talking about these rivalry games. NDSU's beaten SDSU once in Sioux Falls. That was in the championship game, I think, in 2014. And that was with Taylor Braun. I mean, he was the best player on the court. That's sort of my famous rule about the Summit League men's tournament. And USD's never beaten SDSU in the conference tournament on the men's side. So until we see different, I mean, I would say USD is certainly a threat this time around. But I think SDSU's team is better, and I think that'll be what makes the difference in a likely championship scenario. It's interesting. I mean, I think Matt Mooney is sort of that dangerous guy. I'd certainly be more afraid of him than Paul Miller. I certainly understand where Stacken's coming from. He's a guy who.
Dang it, goo.
Well, yes, of course.
Dang. So, goo.
Yeah. So
great. Some random person has joined the chat. Terrific.
Good. You want in?
I have no idea who it is.
Have I spoken to you knuckleheads before?
Who is this man?
This is the leader of the former Jehovah's Witnesses.
Is that right?
You guys ever heard of Jesus the Baby Killer?
Yep.
I have, yes.
Good for you. Now, is he real or fake?
Charlie, what say you?
I didn't know we were going to have a theological discussion today. I was not prepared for this.
Charlie.
You don't have to be prepared. Just use your God-given brain.
I'd say he's fake. What a deal that guy was. Anyway, Charlie. I mean, all that matters is SDSU and USD. And the rest of the conference isn't very good, especially on the women's side. So, I mean, ultimately, does it really matter? I mean, the women's side last year was very good. Maybe the best conference they've had top to bottom. But this year, not so much. But does it really? I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it?
For the women's or the men's side?
We're still talking about the baby killers.
So the men's side?
Sure, men's side, yeah. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter because the two draws are the top two teams. So.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, even though there's more, it seems like there's more upsets in the men's side than the women's side. I would be quite surprised if it's not USD and SDSU in the championship game because they just throughout the season. I mean, there have been other years where the Summit League, I mean, clearly it's never been as good as the 10 other conferences, the 10 best conferences. But there have been years where you could say, no, the Summit League's actually fairly good. Outside of the top two teams, this is not one of those years because basically everybody else is garbage. Mm-hmm. And I just don't – we might get upsets. I don't think it's going to be in the top two seeds, though.
But in this year, has there ever been a Summit League tournament where there have been two teams as dominant as SDSU and USD? I would argue no. And on either side, yes, but especially on especially the men's side, I don't remember a 1-2 punch that was as good. Maybe if we're going back to like Oakland and NDSU.
Oakland, yeah, that first year, 09, they were quality. I mean, that came down to the bucket. NDSU wins it with Woodside. That was good.
I think it's a valid point, but part of the reason they're both so good, I think, is just because everyone else is so bad at the same time.
Marcus, where would you put that random guy in the ranking of oddest goddamn moments? So, whatever. At first, honestly, I thought it was Coob at first.
I thought it was Coob at first also.
Yeah.
But it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been.
Well, he wouldn't come on here. He wouldn't have Jehovah's Witness in his username. So, did you mute him or did he just leave?
I took him out. I had the power to take him out. Similar to God, I play God in this chat. So
yes, you do. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I guess that goes to show that you tweet the link out. Anybody could jump in.
And we welcome all comers as long as you're not a dumb ass.
We don't. I don't welcome all comers. No, I don't.
And that was good because we got the old system of doing things now. Things.
It's out there. It's out there. I would point out to the question about the dominance. I mean, didn't USC go to Denver and lose, and they lost to NDSU at home? I mean, that's those are two very weird losses in the grand scheme of this season.
They were down to Oral Roberts by 15 or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so they have a propensity to do weird things too. I mean, this is the Summit League. We haven't seen a tournament where all hell does break loose. And I don't necessarily think that's going to happen this year, but it seems like this league is sort of due for one of those, where it's just like we get a 6 and a 7 playing for
Denver, North Dakota State championship game.
Yeah, I mean, something stupid like that where the winner is certainly going to be playing on the opening Tuesday of the tournament. So I'm not sure people really want to see that at the expense of SDSU or USD in the championship, considering this is what we've been building for 10 years. But
yeah, it's a decade at the Falls.
I'm interested. So
let's start stacking on the men's side here.
Mm-hmm.
SDSU Western, your first men's game, followed by USD and Omaha. Omaha taking a dramatic step back. Fort Wayne, North Dakota State, I suppose, is your best first-round game. Perhaps I can tickle your fancy. Of course, the Sunday late game is just that death spot. Denver and Oral Roberts. Anything tickle your fancy in this first round? Fort Wayne NDSU is the only one like, maybe NDSU can beat them. And I hope they do.
Going back to Omaha, was Thurman really the glue that held that team together?
Well, they had the guard. Who was the other guard?
They have that tall bastard, Zach Johnson or something. I think he's still there.
They had like their guard.
Hollins.
Yeah, he was the man. Thurman went to Nevada. He'll play next year. I mean, they lost their 2 or 3 best players, so.
Okay.
Seems significant, I'll say.
Yes, I would agree there. Fort Wayne, North Dakota State, I guess is going to be good. I'm kind of more intrigued by Denver, Oral Roberts, just because, we mentioned that Denver has the capacity to pull off an upset, beating USD at home earlier this year. I want to see exactly, and, they rallied against SDSU a couple weeks ago, but that comeback came up short. I think that Denver could be the surprise team in all of this. So if we could see a Denver-Fort Wayne championship game, that would be intriguing.
I mean, I realize I just threw that out there, but I think there's just a super small chance that one of the South Dakota teams playing for the championship. I won't dispute the fact that we could have one upset either way, because it just seems like this could be the year for that. But it's going to be tough.
Outside of the South Dakota schools, I would just say that Fort Wayne and Denver have the best chances, which makes sense because they're, I think, the 3 and the 4 seed. So, I mean, that's, it seems common sense, but I just don't see any other team really having a chance. And Denver and Fort Wayne especially Fort Wayne with Conchar. If he gets going as he did last night for a period of time, he finished with like 31 or something like that. He can keep Fort Wayne in it. So I would say Fort Wayne is definitely the dark horse with Denver. Yes, the African-American horse, Travis. With Denver, though, not too far behind them.
Marcus, does Amon poop on Denver because he saw them once and they didn't play well, even though they got the 3 seed here? They appear to be just as good as any other non-South Dakota team in this conference.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where he made that determination. They don't play that awful ground and pound offense anymore.
Billups.
Yeah, thanks to Chauncey Billups' brother. So I would maybe say, to what Kryn said. I think the Denver Oral Roberts game is maybe like the quintessential 8:30 Sunday night contest, simply because you've got these two schools that nobody locally cares about. They're two teams that probably should be better than they are, and I will be thoroughly entertained. I hope it's not a 12-point game like those sometimes tend to be.
What would be a bigger upset? Omaha taking down USD or Southern Utah beating Oakland? I will take Southern Utah over Oakland all day.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'll take Omaha.
I still can't believe that Southern Utah beat Oakland.
Wasn't that only a 3-6?
Yeah,
that was a 2-7, I thought.
Was it 2-7?
I don't.
I think it was 3-6, but Oakland had what's his name, who was
was
the leading scorer in the whole country.
Benson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reggie Hamilton?
No, it's Reggie Hamilton. It was the year after Benson left because they weren't the 1 seed, but he was averaging like 27 points a game. And whenever he had the ball, you were like, oh, yeah, this guy's clearly the best player on the court by far. And somehow they lost.
I just remember
that was the game. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
that was the game where Campy was just yelling at every other player on the team and telling them, "Get Reggie the ball! Get Reggie the ball!" And they got him the ball, but clearly not enough to win the game.
I'll call you. I was just gonna say that I was down on the floor at that time too because I was at the old arena.
I watched last year's show, and you're gonna tell the same story you told last year. Go ahead.
Okay, well then I won't say it.
Go ahead, make it a tradition.
No, I don't remember the story. I'm intrigued.
Well,
I don't either. Yeah.
So I was just walking along the floor, and there were like maybe 4 people from Southern Utah, and they were talking to the AD or the president and said, "This made the whole trip worth it. Just seeing Oakland go down." It was just that's always a moment that sticks out to me.
It does. You've mentioned it. Mention it again next year because it's
probably
it's a tradition at this stage.
A great moment. Charlie, what is your pick on the men's side?
I know Traxler said it a few years ago, and sometimes someone makes a point, and it just makes too much sense to go against it. And I like the team with the best player, as long as the team's not awful, has a good chance at winning. So I'm going to go with South Dakota State wins. Goes to the NCAA tournament. Don't know if Mike Daum comes back for the next year or not.
He will.
But there's at least one more Mike Daum South Dakota State Summit League tournament highlight, and the Jackrabbit men win.
Usually there is a definite favorite. I think this year is the most even it's been. Or it won't really be an upset if either school wins. So I think it's the most
between the 1 and the 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most competitive of all right. I mean, both teams could win, and it wouldn't be a shock. Marcus, I've got SDSU winning this thing. Mooney is just a son of a gun.
He is. He's incredible. Yeah.
He's probably the best, like outside of maybe any Oakland player. Woodside was pretty good. I'd say those two are comparable.
If you're taking out the SDSU players, right? I mean, no Walters type thing. Yeah.
But even then, you got to put him in the top 5. I would say Mooney. We'll see what he does. This is his second tournament, maybe third.
Yeah, I'd be curious what Amon would say because I seem to remember Travis Bader in a lot more reasonable light than Amon does. He doesn't seem to but he was good. I would say is like the guy who like he catches it, puts up a three. You know it's going in with Mooney, and I think like I would describe him as an assassin out there, where he's burying shots. What's that?
You would?
I would Mooney.
That's
I mean, he's the guy you just don't want to have the ball. And I can't remember too many other players in league history, Jacks or anybody included, that are like that. I think it's incredible what he's able to do, and he would be the main reason that USD would win the tournament. I mean, I posited earlier this week that maybe it will be the SDSU women and the USD men, because that'd be the opposite of the results we had this last week. But at the end of the day, I can't not pick Dom. I can't not pick Jenkins. Tellinghusen has been there before. They have this good group of guys. I just can't see them not winning it. I think around Mooney, there's too many flaws in USD. So I would say SDSU will top the Yotes in the final.
Traxler, you mentioned Mooney is an assassin. If looks could kill, he would also be wanted for at least a dozen murders or so.
Oh, wow.
Are you saying he's ugly?
No, I'm saying like the
You're saying he's not ugly. He's really attractive.
I'm saying the way he looks at opponents sometimes, it's like he's piercing them with a laser through their soul.
Wow.
I will go against the grain here. I picked USD at the beginning of the year. I just looked, and I'm very sad to see that Mooney is a junior. So that means he's going to be back for another year. But I think USD, for the most part, their team, they have a few other seniors that are going away this year. So they'll have to rebuild a little bit around Mooney. But I will take USD. I'm tempering my expectations. That way, when SDSU wins, I'll be like, yes, I'm happy. But I'm hedging my bets. But I just think Mooney, I mean, he's so lethal. And, if SDSU falls behind early in a game this year, like they did last year in the quarterfinals?
Semifinals.
No, semifinals. Thank you. I just don't think they'll be able to come back this year. Not saying that they will fall in a big hole early, but I'll take USD. I'll stick with my preseason bet and hope that I pray I'm wrong. Yep.
Yeah. Women's side, USD women take on Fort Wayne. Second game is SDSU and North Dakota State. Denver and Oral Roberts, they meet on both sides. And you have the 3-seed Western taking on Omaha. Big fan of Omaha. Charlie, much concern here. SDSU, they've yet to beat them. This is not the first time a team has swept South Dakota State in the regular season, only to fall in the championship. I believe Oral Roberts falls in that category. Would you consider this more of the same? Regular season, fine, but when it comes down to it, how about this? SDSU women are the Patriots of the Summit League. They're the best. And every championship game they play is going to be close.
I think that's reasonable. That's a good point. And much like the Patriots, I think South Dakota State's going to lose in the championship game this year.
Oh, my heavens.
Wow.
Boo.
Okay, sorry. The guy who just took the USD men to win. That's okay. We take the USD women, and that's some terrible lowball.
Fair point.
I mean, Marcus, they had a lead. They, by all means, should have held that
Charlie.
They should have held that lead the other night. Why did they? I mean, they shot 60-some percent. And, when a team shoots 60-some percent for a half, that's coming down to full territory. I mean, I think SDSU women win this. I've said I think they're going to win it. Probably going to be like, it's going to be a close game. Then at the end, it's going to maybe be like an 8 or 10-point game. How do you see SDSU winning this, if you do?
Well, I thought AJ made an interesting comment after the game on Wednesday, where it was like they played well enough to win both games against USD, but they didn't play well enough to win, if that makes sense.
The first game,
they were right there. I would agree with that. That the first game,
They played
I mean, USC beat them flat out, and I think in the second game, SDSU gave that game away. I mean, the fact that they were up 11 with 15 minutes left, that's got to be a lead. A team of that caliber, SDSU has to be able to hold on to. So that part I think is frustrating. I just can't see SDSU losing to them 3 times. I think this is sort of the classic scenario where I think SDSU is a better team, and it's just a matter of winning that game when the time comes. We're expecting a lot of SDSU to have this home court advantage again, and I think it'll be a really exciting game. I don't think it will be a 8-point game at the end. I think it will come down to one possession, and I think SDSU will pull it out. I mean, they just, from a talent standpoint, they have to put it all together in one game against these guys, and I think that's the challenge for a potential third meeting.
Stack, and they've never lost in the Summit League championship game. I believe there's, what would they be, 7-0?
Yeah.
They'd be 6. Yep. They're 6-0, 6-0 all time in Summit League title games.
No, if they
lost to Western Latin. There's been 8 years.
Yes.
They lost.
No, 9. No, this is a decade. We're celebrating a decade at the Falls.
No. 2009 was the first, right? 2009 was the first year, right?
Yeah, and they've made it 7 times. So they're 7-0 in title games, and they lost twice. They lost once to IUPUI, lost once to Western.
Yeah.
No, they lost to US.
They lost USD, didn't they?
USD beat them in the arena their last year there. So they were 6-0.
No, the Summit League is touting this as a decade at the Falls.
Sure, it's 10.
It's the 10th tournament.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they've never lost a title game, so if you're going to get them, you better get them Monday.
I would also like to say, I think the key to this game when it happens, because I'm looking at the roster right now, they've had 2 games where USC has had some unsung hero come through. You had Liveringhouse in the first game, shoot out of her mind. Trimboli this last time, the Australian senior. They have to find a way to avoid that. I mean, take away that your player that has risen up and gotten them twice. And if they're able to do that, I think they can win this game. But if somebody else is going to come out and put together 15 points off the bench, that's a problem.
Your pick, Stack.
I will take SDSU women. It's very difficult to beat a team 3 times in a row, and SDSU has been right there with USD each of the first 2 games this year. I agree with obviously you can't shoot 61% for an entire game, but I would expect them to shoot better than 3 of 16 in the fourth quarter if it comes, when these 2 teams meet, unlike what happened Wednesday night. So I will take SDSU's women's team to beat USD, assuming Fort Wayne can't pull off the greatest upset of all time.
That would be the greatest. I want to look at it this week. I probably got some time. Yep. Teams that have played 3 times and the first 2 meetings have went one way. Is it really hard to beat a team 3 times, or does the team that won the first 2 win the second or win the third one? In the Summit League specifically, over the last 10 years.
Although there would be a degree of subjectivity, because I think the line is it's tough to beat a good team 3 times. And there's a lot of teams that I'm sure they beat someone 3 times, but it's not been someone that's good.
Good. So we'll see what teams have done that and how that happens. So any other Summit League thoughts? I'm sure we'll be together next Sunday. Stack, and you'll be there, Saturday? You're making a long trip Saturday morning. Saturday is always a huge day for you.
Yep. Hopefully Saturday. I understand there's supposed to be a storm rolling into the area, so hopefully weather will not impact. What?
To our area?
No, to the Fargo area. But there's, Yep. There's supposed to be snow and wintry mix all next weekend, so that's going to be super fun. It wouldn't be a Summit League tournament without some terrible weather. Either wind gusts over 50 miles an hour, or a freak snowstorm, or hell, it's 70 degrees and then the next day it's 20 and snowing. It's March. It's great. Greatest month of the year. And looking forward to it. I'll have your tickets.
Is March the America of months? It's the greatest ever.
Yes.
Charlie, you'll be there 1 day or 2 day? 1 day?
Maybe 2, probably just 1. We'll see how some stuff plays out work-wise.
This is your first tournament since 2000?
I think, this is the first since Nate Walters was playing for South Dakota State.
Very good. Have you not been inside the new arena?
I don't believe so, no.
You're in for a treat.
Marcus, what should Charlie expect? Sunday buffet, whatever you got.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Sunday's the day, that's kind of, and given the way the schedule appears to be looking, I would say the buffet on Sunday at the Supreme Buffet and Hibachi Grill is looking prime. Because I've already forgot what the 2:30 game is on Sunday, but I'm guessing.
I'm looking. I think it's Denver and Oral Roberts.
Yeah, I don't think I'm watching much of that.
That thing at about 4:30 and say, all right, we're ready to go.
That's right, and then you've got.
I'm sorry, Omaha and Western Illinois. Sorry.
Well, that changes things.
That changes it. Yeah, that's right. The arena itself, I think it's made the tournament. I mean, just a lot more. I would say comfortable because you're not sort of sitting on everybody and all bunched up together. So I'm excited. I was just there yesterday for state wrestling and I was there way too late. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be back here in less than a week. So the Premier Center in Sioux Falls is my second home for the next month between all the tournaments and stuff that's going on there. But I think it's a fun time. Like I said earlier, the one event that I definitely look forward to every year, and this year should be no different.
What if you had to go to the buffet, China buffet, like noon? Can you do that, or would you have to wait until after? Well, I'm just saying, do you wait until after the 2:30 game, or do you still leave like beginning of the fourth quarter of that game?
Yeah,
it is Omaha, Western Illinois, after all. I mean, this is bigger than.
It always depends on the competitiveness of the game. I mean, if it's I'm Krins knows this. I'm notoriously a person who does not leave games early, but I'm always willing to make an exception for this because it's tradition, and also because if you miss a buzzer beater at the end of some random women's basketball game, I'll live. So. That's sort of the mindset. I don't think we would want to do a noon thing because Krins, I mean,
the games.
Well, yeah, and Krins only wants to eat like once all day. So,
you got because you got the Sunday night deal, so you kind of bridge the gap.
That's true. There's very likely going to be a podcast live audience, Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll see you there about 10:30 on Sunday. So
don't say there might be. There will be. We got to keep up with tradition here.
Open in case there's a venue change or something stupid, but yeah, that's going to happen. So.
You never know, Stack, and all the Buffalo Wild Wings in Sioux Falls could be shut down for serving bad chicken or something.
Yeah, you never know.
It might not be our fault. It could be their fault why it's closed.
Then we aren't going to get the next Michael Tweet moment. Look how big my hands are. Speaking of which, we'll have a guest appearance here by Noah Stacking later to
today
the size of his hands. Yes, today.
Is he sleeping at the moment?
No. Do you want me to get him?
Sure. Is he sleeping for? I mean, Nashville. Nashville and Blues are on, and I checked the records, and apparently Nashville's really good.
They are.
Yeah.
Are they like the 1 seed, or what's Nashville's deal?
They would be the 2 seed behind Vegas.
Well, overall, Nashville would be the 1 in their division.
Right.
Isn't it kind of ridiculous that Vegas is the favorite? How they're not going to win it?
Yeah.
I don't think they're the favorite.
But odds betting favor right now, like they're the odds-on favorites to win this thing.
to
Which
make the Stanley Cup final. I wouldn't say
to win
that.
it. They're like I got to check my odds, but they're there.
I think Boston really strengthened their odds today with getting Rick Nash from the Rangers.
Jackknife.
Yes.
Powerbomb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash style.
There we go.
Ric Flair.
Woo! Anyways, other college basketball news. Stacking.
Everyone's going to jail. Everyone's going to jail.
Why is the FBI looking into this? I still, after years of wondering, years of looking, I still don't know what laws have been broken and why the FBI is looking to agents paying players. I understand the NCAA rules.
Yeah.
I do not understand anything else. I don't how and why. What illegal act is being bandied about here? What illegal act?
I don't know. Maybe it's just they're tired of the inmates running the asylum. That being all these coaches paying players and universities running amok, and they're seeing all this shit going on, and they're like, "Hey, we got to make a statement here." This is like they're just trying to say, "Hey, we're making a statement here. This is who we are," and it sucks, but at the same time, it is exposing a lot of corruption within not only college basketball but collegiate sports in general, and hopefully this is the valley here, and now we can only go up in college sports. But you're talking about all these these big programs, Duke, Michigan State, Kansas, Arizona. I mean, you couldn't have a worse. Who would have thought that Alonzo Trier being ineligible for the rest of the season would only be the second worst piece of news that Arizona basketball got this week? It sucks. It sucks.
Do you think it's bad?
It might be good news for Arizona. They can get a coach that can actually take them to the Final Four now.
Bam!
But that's assuming that they don't get the death penalty.
No,
I feel confident they won't get the death penalty.
Everyone's getting the death penalty. God damn it, Stacking! Didn't you read what I wrote this week?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Charlie,
that's fine.
Charlie, I think this is a good thing ultimately.
I was being facetious though with the death penalty.
Sure.
No one's getting it.
Hopefully, this leads to players getting paid, since they already are. They can make it legal, and hopefully, this is the change. If this is the change that happens, I think this is good. But if nothing changes, then this is just a waste of time, and I don't think any of this matters. Like the NCAA, they still have to do whatever they're going to do. So what the hell is the NCAA doing? This is going on, and we all know what goes on. We know what goes on in college football. But here we have the FBI doing it. The NCAA, I don't even know if they've even started anything. So what do you make of the? What do you make of the mess? Is anything going to change here? If it's not paying players, that is the change. And then what the hell's going on here?
I don't think anything's going to change immediately. I think this could probably be another brick in the bridge to paying players. I don't know. I think we're certainly a lot closer to that now than we were, like, not just a decade ago, but even 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know how much longer it's going to be. I would generally agree with your sentiments that it's odd that the FBI is doing this. One of the first things I thought was like, oh, if the FBI is involved, who's doing something illegal? I don't know who's doing something illegal. I haven't read into any of the stuff that much either. I think it's noteworthy that people are like, oh, there's women getting raped on campus, and people are like,
"That's a big deal." Now that is illegal.
And then when they're like, "Oh, this guy got $10,000," and everyone's like, "Yeah, I don't really care."
Jay Billis brought up an interesting point on Friday. Pardon the interruption. He said that hockey players and baseball players, they can have agents. So maybe that should be one of the changes that needs to be implemented, is that football and basketball players can have agents, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, and that goes into having these athletes get paid, which they should. I think that would eliminate some of the corruption that's going on here, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's a great point to get the agents.
I think it's a valid point, Stackin. If you think though that kids having agents means that Johnny Booster's not also going to be giving people money,
sure, no,
I think that's factually inaccurate. I think people are still going to get it, but no, I don't have a problem if players want to get endorsement deals in college. Like I don't think there's like I don't know. It's weird that 80 years ago people decided some of this stuff was bad. And then it's just like, well, I don't know if this is really all that big of a deal either.
Like when these rules were made 100 years ago, when coaches were making a couple $1,000s, I could understand this. But when coaches are making $5 or $10 million a year, these rules are so outdated and so irrelevant. They have to be changed because they're ridiculous right now.
Like the bagel and cream cheese.
Yeah, sure, something like that.
They're counting as a meal.
Yeah. What I would say is that I'm somebody who I'm not going to defend the NCAA because they're not defensible, but I do. This is amateur athletics. This is not professional sports. I think there's a way to. I support letting players profit off their likeness, and if the school's going to sell jerseys that have the kid's number on them, or if they're going to be in a video game, then some of that money has to go back to the kids. But as far as like paying players, and if you want to say or lump in cost of attendance or whatever extra boosts you want to do to help that way, that's fine.
USC is doing this. SDSU isn't.
Right, but I'm not in favor of cutting somebody a check every month for being on the team or whatever.
You get okay. How about that? This is the idea. Trae Young's a big deal. He can get his agent. Agent can pay him because some Joe Blow car dealer wants him to do a commercial for him,
right.
Like that.
I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with
like the Olympics. How do the Olympics do it?
Then that's basically how they do it. You make money off your likeness, off endorsements. Obviously some of these skiers are professional athletes still. So the Olympics have ceded some ground on that simply because they have to. But I think the other part of this is, and I would agree with Stackin, if you want to roll the agents in, you certainly can. But the one and done rule, if we're talking about basketball, that would fix some of these issues. Mm-hmm. I think in some ways, I think the NBA will create or needs to up the G League more to the point of having it be, if you want to go to the NBA and develop, that's your chance. If you don't want to do that, you want to play college basketball, here's your option. I think if you give kids more options that way, I don't care if it really dilutes the sport of college basketball, if it makes everybody feel better about the product that's being put out there. Because I think there should be enough room for everybody to make this work. I think the other, I don't mean to interrupt, but the other thing that was being raised this week was, you've got some schools, obviously they've got the thing at Arizona where they, Sean Miller, what an idiot, is wiretapped saying, he's going to pay, $100,000. And you, like Stackin brought up with the bagel thing, you want to make a delineation between those two. And that's where the NCAA rules really have to be overhauled, because you can't be laying the same punishment down for every single type of crime. Some of these crimes here are worse. And, I don't want to take the side of college coaches here because like Chris said, they're making plenty of money. They can go get bent. But, if you're in a position where, everybody sees a story and they say Duke and Kansas and Michigan State and Arizona are all named in this report, but they're all, the crimes are all different. They're not, not everybody's getting $100,000 there. And so I think that's going to be something to watch going forward. If the whole sport is going to be just buried because of this really, I don't know to what extent we have this scandal, but I think it's really interesting to think about, is anybody going to survive this given the fact that it may be a bagel and cream cheese, or, hopefully the people that are paying $100,000 and Sean Miller is probably going to lose his job. That seems justified.
Ed, you bring up a good point with the professional sports, like the NBA with the one and done rule, even the NFL with their age requirement there that you have to be in school for what, 3 years or have 2 years, starting there. That's a factor in it as well. Maybe the NBA does say, hey, if you don't want to go play college, you know what, you can come play in the G League. Because I think it would be a small percentage. It's not going to be a huge lump of athletes that, or of players that would go and do that. The other thing too is, and this is something not directly correlated with this, but kind of this along the similar mindset, is that a lot of these kids, they declare themselves eligible for the NBA or the NFL draft based on mock drafts, or like scouts projections and everything. If they don't get drafted, they should, and they hire an agent, they should be allowed to come back to college football, even if their scholarship was reallocated to some other kid. I think there has to be something for that, because they are going based off of people in an industry who, let's face it, they aren't exactly right the whole time. See Jake Locker or Johnny Manziel for examples of this.
Yeah. We could sit here, because you say that, and there's like 5 more things I would change to sort of dovetailing off.
Sure.
That.
Yep. Yeah.
We could
change a little separate.
We could change 50 things and we wouldn't be done by any means. So it's just, there are so many problems, and I would agree with what Charlie said there for a little while. This is just probably going to be one more brick until the next shoe drops, and we can add a few more bricks to this bridge of trying to make some change. But there's just, I think a lot of people, it's, my theory is that, I don't see the NCAA, Corinne was asking, why doesn't the NCAA do more? It's because the NCAA is run by the schools. They're the ones that have the chief say in the rules. They don't, in some ways they don't want to see a change.
But then again, none of these coaches know anything about it.
And that's the dumbest.
Oh my God, are you shitting me? We don't have a clue.
To be fair, I think a lot of the coaches don't know, but it's like because they don't want to know. Like what Arizona did and Sean Miller did, so stupid, because you could have done the exact same thing without involving the coach at all, and then you have plausible deniability. And it just shows, I guess, the Pac-12, since, way out west in the United States, they don't care as much about sports. They're not as good as cheating as they are in other areas of the country that just care more about sports.
Like the SEC. That's right.
Or the Big Ten or the ACC. Like, let's just say this. I'm sure there have been players that have been paid to go to North Carolina. I bet Roy Williams isn't on tape saying, we'll give this kid $60,000 because they've got someone else to take care of that. So, yeah.
Rick Pitino not knowing any of this, that's fucking ridiculous.
I was just gonna say, because we have somebody who's been trying plausible deniability and nobody believes it. It's not working. And when you have 2 major scandals in like 3 or 4 years, you're gonna lose your job, and they're gonna take a national championship away. So it's funny that we talk about plausible deniability and then it totally comes back and bites Rick Pitino in the ass, which is perfect. So
Sean Miller coming out with his statement saying that he believes he will be vindicated or cleared. Like, how the hell can you say that? You're caught on tape, you dumbass.
Well, they didn't have a picture of him saying that, Stacking. He was sweating through his shirt.
That's very true.
Because everyone could tell he was lying.
Well, they played last night, and so I'm sure they just put out that statement. But tomorrow morning we could very well find out he's going to be out of a job, and or a week from now, whenever. And I don't think any of us would be surprised, because when you're caught red-handed and you're trying to pass it off as, well, I'll be vindicated, or there's 2 sides of the story. It's just like, I really don't need to hear the other side. That's you. What else is there to figure out?
Yeah. Oh, someone manipulated my voice. Like who's Jeff Dunham or no? I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Frank Caliendo. Frank Caliendo sent. He somehow impersonated my voice, saying I'd pay $100,000 to get.
Frank Caliendo, a secret Arizona State sleeper agent all these years.
Right.
Charlie, because Arizona, maybe they're the biggest offender here. Is this all part of Herm Edwards' big plan to take down the Wildcats?
God, it may be. Over the last 2 months or month and a half, things have not gone well for the Arizona Wildcats, both football and men's basketball. So yeah, whatever success they'd had recently may be long gone now.
And
at least on the football side, I think that's fair.
I found
basketball. I don't know.
I found the penalties for Louisville. I enjoyed the money. This was earlier this summer where they took back some of the money, which I would do all the time. The wins and the championship don't mean anything. That's similar to how the Olympics handled Russia. They still let them compete, but they didn't have a flag or a national anthem.
And they're still cheating their asses off, but whatever.
I mean, the loser. No, not the curler.
And then
they couldn't even get gold, even though they were cheating.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing this, USA, and they're taking away things that don't matter. It's like stacking. I'm going to take away that blanket. I'm going to take away your headphones. That's going to teach you not to do whatever the hell we caught you doing, and you're going to keep doing it. So if you're going to do something, again, Marcus, my plan. You want to do something? Take the money away. That's good. No TV. Arizona. You don't get to be on TV next year. No tournament, no TV. Right. And if you want to do something even more extreme, say any team that plays Arizona next year, you still play them, but it's an exhibition. It doesn't count for your RPI, your strength of schedule, or anything. If you're banned from the NCAA tournament, you're banned from postseason play, like maybe Louisville might be again. You can play Louisville, the game, sure, but it doesn't count in the standings. It doesn't count in RPI. It's a game you play. Basically, it's as close as you can get to banning a team from a year. No TV. All your games are essentially exhibitions.
Isn't that essentially like the death penalty, though?
It is, but they can still play. The death penalty would be all right. You don't get to play for a year or two. Here, they still get to play, but they're not playing for anything. They're essentially a ghost team. That's what I want.
Instead of the death penalty, it's the coma penalty.
That's right. They're still around, but they don't know what's going on.
I mean, I would say there's worse ideas, certainly. I did write this week because we had this conversation in the chat, and it sort of inspired me. We talk about how vacant it is to vacate a win or vacate a national championship. It doesn't – I mean, the example I use is that I was 6 or 7 when Minnesota went to the Final Four. I remember it. I got the VHS tape that narrates the season that Dick Bramer had. So I remember it, and it's stupid that we're going to act like this never happened, like they didn't win the national championship. As noted leg breaker Kevin Ware tweeted this week, all my teammates we all got rocks. We all got them rings. And so that's not going to change. I think the TV ban is that's the one I'd like to see because, and like Corinne said, you forfeit the money. That's a start. But because you've got these contracts for conferences and television sports, it's going to be difficult. And apparently there would be sort of a legal case that the other teams in the conference could bring against, Louisville or the NCAA.
Vanderbilt is like when's the last? I think Vanderbilt may have played one game on CBS this year.
Against Alabama.
They
played 2. Georgia as well.
Oh my God! Like some of these
their games are on. Their games are all on cable. I mean, you can all get them. I mean, so that's the problem.
Get them off.
Yeah.
I think
it could only be 2 games most.
A good plan. This is my plan. That's 60% serious, 40% me being a smartass. But I would like to see him do this because I think this truly would curtail problems if that's what they wanted to do, although I don't know if the legality of this would work. And because I know more examples of, I'll stick with a basketball example first, but I know far more football examples of this. But you basically say, like, all right, any cheating more than 2 or 3 years ago, whatever, you get away with it. But from now on, you got to be clean. And if you're not clean, your coach is instantly fired, and we get to pick who your replacement coach is. And they just pick someone who is a clean coach but is not good at coaching. So it would be like, guess what, North Carolina? Matt Doherty is your coach for the next 4 years, and you can't fire him unless there's, like felony stuff. And then after 4 years, if you want to get rid of him, you can. But no, you're stuck with this guy. So like and you can do it with football also, where it'd be like, oh, you were cheating Michigan State? Charlie Weiss is your next coach, your head coach for the next 4 years now. And I think that would do. I think it would be funny, and it would lead to all sorts of stuff that you could point and laugh at people. But I think there would be more of like we really don't want to be stuck with this. Like you could even assign 5 or 6 coaches to conferences, and it's like whoever cheats next, this guy's your next head coach. Mike Riley's your next head coach if you're cheating.
Oh my God, Nolan Richardson, get up.
Al Groh is the number 1 coach for ACC football to fill in.
Yeah,
there's 3 criminal cases tied to this investigation somehow. I don't know what that means, what that is, but maybe that's where the FBI is involved in this.
I mean,
Dennis,
if they're wiretapping you, that's some serious shit. I'll say that.
sure, that's fun. Dennis Smith Jr. with Mavericks now. He received $43,000, and the documents here are very, very good records. Whoever kept the records, they did a very nice job of keeping the records at the
Markel Fultz.
Markel Fultz involved.
Markel Fultz, he had to give the money back though because he can't shoot.
Yeah, Markel Fultz.
Maybe he should have used the money to help his shoulder.
Terrible player. He received $10,000 but did not sign with this agency, ASM. So this is just one agency, and there's tons of others that's probably going to come out. Dennis Smith Jr. seemed like the big winner here. He received $73,000 in loans. I'm sure it was loans.
No, and I'm sure that very low interest. I'm sure, not 12% or anything like that.
The thing about it is, like, none of these guys signed with this agency, even though they got a bunch of money.
That's bad. That's bad agenting then.
Isaiah Whitehead at the time at Seton Hall received $26,000. Also, another document says he received $37,000.
Maybe that's why they are going to the FBI now, and the FBI is cracking down on this. This agency said, "Yep, I'm gonna just throw all these guys under the bus because they didn't sign with me. Fuck them."
Diamond Stone, guy at Maryland, you may remember, he received $14,000. A guy at LSU received $16,000. Bam Adebayo with Kentucky last year says he received $12,000. Also, there's another one that says he received $36,000. Bad loan, it said. Bad loan. So again, all of these. I mean, this is amazing. All of these players, it just pages and pages of, like Kyle Kuzma, guy with the Lakers now. It looks like he got $12,000. Dennis Smith. Let's see here. Let's see. I mean, all these names are even your guy stacking Fred Van Vliet got $1,000.
Yes.
That's how much he meant to them, $1,000 goddamn dollars. So it's great to look at this list.
So you're saying Van Vliet's the best deal because I think he was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year one year. So $1,000 for a Conference Player of the Year.
Who's he with now? The Raptors? Is that why you're?
Maybe. I don't know.
I know Ron Baker's with the Knicks.
Some guy here looks like he got 71. Carlos Delfino, $71 on the books, it looks like. So that's good. A good meal at Perkins. Our guy, Brian Bowen, of course, he's screwed. Guy named Apple Jones, and it's got parentheses, Josh Jackson. So Apple Jones, that's a good name to use for future use. Wendell Carter, guy for Duke, going to be a lottery pick. Lunch for him, $106 lunch. That's an expensive lunch. So tons of guys.
A lot of bagels and cream cheese.
It's very exciting, and all these players getting paid for stuff like this. So
to be fair, maybe it was only a $20 lunch, and they just left a really big tip.
That's very true.
Could have been good service.
Yeah,
200% tip it. Anything else, Stacking? Anything else with college basketball? This weekend didn't do much for me. Big Ten tournament this week, which is dumb.
It's gonna suck.
Villanova lost. Looks like.
Well, I think that didn't Delaney, the Big Ten commissioner, come out and say they aren't going to do this anymore. This is just they're just doing it this 1 week, and then future tournaments will go back to the standard format.
They shouldn't be able to do this ever.
Well, they just wanted to get into MSG. That's all they wanted to. Site of the dog show. fucking dog show.
Okay, you bring this up. I
They
forgot
need to
about
get in
this.
there. I mean, how else are you going to have 700 people show up to an Illinois-Wisconsin Big Ten Conference tournament game?
Well, Rutgers, New York City, Rutgers.
Really an unfair disadvantage for the Butgers contingent. Stack, and I got to admit, I would watch the dog show over, what would you say, Olympics, or what did you say?
Oh, fuck you. I don't know. But
It was there was a dog show on NBC on Thanksgiving Day. I watched probably a half hour of that.
Wow.
I did watch the last 10 minutes of the hockey regulation last night, and I also watched the overtime. That was fine.
Did you watch the USA women?
No, Sports Stack, and that was by far the most I'd watched.
Actually, no, I'm going to stand up for the women here.
Oh, you stand up for the women on your couch.
Because that's what I do, a gentleman.
What time was this game?
I started at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
the other
it was
night.
9
The other
10.
night.
No, that was at 10:10. I think it was at 10:10, and by the time the medal ceremony happened, it was
It ended 1:30 in the morning.
yeah,
Women's
2 o'clock.
10 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not watching it.
You should have. I'll just tell you that. I don't care.
But, Wisconsin, hopefully Wisconsin can beat Michigan State here. They're down 3. That'd be good.
Let's hope
Sports,
not.
Travis.
No.
Sports.
I mean, Wisconsin's irrelevant here, so they're playing pretty well recently.
Real teams.
Wisconsin's winning the Big Ten. How about that?
No, get them out of here.
How about that?
Put them in jail.
So, Marcus, so you're defending the women because?
I have no idea.
Because it was a great goddamn game. That's
Yes.
why.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I just wanted to make sure you got to finish your point there.
That's the least I can do. I mean, incredible drama, considering that for the last 4 Olympiads, you've had the U.S. getting screwed by Canada mostly, even though they've had probably the best team in the world or second best team in the world each of those 20 years. And they won, Crins, in a shootout, gold medal shootout, including
Second Amendment.
a ridiculous goal in the shootout.
Nobody
to
would
win
beat
it.
America in a shootout.
All I
Charlie?
know is that there was some lady from Canada who people were mad at because she was upset she got a silver medal.
And she took it off.
To which I was just like, you know what? Do we have to be like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like that big.
People need to be upset about stuff.
They're not here to take home second, for Christ's sake.
How disrespectful.
I mean,
I
if
was
the U.S.
happy.
men's basketball team got silver medals and we're like, no, I don't even want this, like, I would be completely okay with that.
You know what I've realized, Charlie?
What's that?
I don't really like sports unless it's football, basketball, or baseball.
I don't
The
think you
same
really
with
like
me,
sport-
but
I don't
it's
think you
mostly
really
just
like sports
football
to begin
and
with.
basketball.
What was that?
I said same with me, except it's mostly just football and basketball once football season's over.
Like all the other 100 sports, I don't give a shit.
I don't think you really like sports at all, to be honest. I mean, football, that's probably
College
going away
football
the
is good.
next 20 years.
The baseball is good. I mean, the basketball is good. So maybe 2.5.
You got to do better than that. You have to do. Why are we even calling this a sports lounge? Why?
I don't
Why?
know. Because Jehovah's Dragon 2 joined the group chat and just
And he didn't want to talk about sports either.
no, he didn't.
So what-
Didn't he say when he came on here that I talked to you guys before?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And
Who the hell is this guy?
I
That's
don't know.
why I thought it was Coob because it
Yeah.
sounded like him.
But Coop would show his face too.
I know, but and it didn't. And it, I don't know what the hell this was. Well,
One of the more dumb things we've had on this show. We've had a lot. So
the loud whistler did like the tweet. I wouldn't think it was him.
would he have a screen name that had Jehovah's Witness 2? I mean,
He said, "What did he say? Open up your goddamn minds or whatever." Or
no. I mean, you didn't say goddamn.
is it effing or whatever he said?
We're gonna have to rewatch the tape. I think. I'm not
I
gonna.
think he said,
rewatch
"Open
it.
up your damn mind," because I remember I was surprised.
I
That he
don't.
said,
I don't
"Damn."
I'm pretty sure it was some random dude. So that's exciting. What were we on? We were on
The Olympics.
Olympics.
So,
I mean,
wait, is the Olympics still going on, or is it over?
It is.
No, it's over.
Okay.
Is it
I
it's
planned
done?
on watching a little bit more than I did. I did have curling on, but I was like playing on my iPad and not paying attention.
Yeah.
Other than that, I probably watched a total of about half an hour of the Winter Olympics.
So
the curling thing apparently was good. We won the deal there. When they do, what is it? A broom? What is it?
the sweep,
Is it a
yeah,
broom?
there's sweep. Well,
It's a broom, yeah.
And
They
that's
got,
supposed
like-
to make it go faster, right? When they do that, it's supposed to make it go faster.
It's supposed to heat up the or warm up the ice in front of it, and that makes the
Warm it
rock goes faster because of that. Yeah, the broom is supposed to help melt the ice in front of the rock, and that lets it go.
And then at the end, they go really nuts and try to get every last little inch.
If you're on the other team, because like once it slides past, then the other guy can get in the broom and try to sweep that shit out of there if he can.
I don't know.
It's great. I mean, it's if you watch it for 2 minutes, it's not a hard sport to figure out what the hell's going on. So
Like here's when I watched a little bit of the skiing thing, and Charlie, here's my thing why I don't care. Like I'll watch one, and I'll see him go down the slope when they're going this way and that way down the hill.
you're talking Alpine.
Whatever the hell it is. And then I'll see the second time, and they're going down, and they look the same to me. And it's like, all right, I've seen it twice. I don't need to see
it's
it.
a timed sport. They're not going to look that different. I mean,
That's fun, but I don't
the
need to
game.
watch it for a half hour and see these fuckers do the exact same goddamn thing. It's like, all right, I saw two of them.
Well, the good thing is that you're watching on NBC, and they only care about the Americans so much so that they'll skip the goddamn gold medal run at the end because they think the damn event's over, and then they got to come back 2 hours. Dan Hicks got his damn legs or tail between his legs because it turns out, somebody we didn't even know, somebody else won. Sorry.
I wish there was
That was
something
great.
on the screen that said what the event was and what is this? Are these the finals? Are the qualifying rounds? What am I watching here? What the hell am I? Is this?
They have done that with the event. Like they put on some of them, they'll put up this is
Gold medal.
women's, but they want it. They don't always say, "Hey, these are the finals" or "These are prelims." It's like I could see where that could be confusing because people are wondering, "Well, is this for the gold medal or not?" I mean, that can be confusing.
Do that.
Also, I was watching the men's bobsled, the 4-man. It wasn't the finals, but the U.S. whatever guy was like the driver was hurt. He something with his I can't remember. He got his like appendix taken out a few weeks ago, and he was still hurting. And so they had him sitting in the bobsled, and the other 3 guys pushing. You know, and usually all 4 guys push, and then they all hop in. It's like, why the hell are we even out there then? If we've only got 3 guys that can push, and the 4th guy's sitting in there, let's get a different team out there or something. I mean, come on.
Get an alternate.
I've honestly never understood bobsled. Like I get I get the way it works, but I don't understand why there's more than one person in it because it's just. I mean, it's like we don't have NASCAR where there's like NASCAR and then NASCAR with 3 passengers.
And you
should
have to
consider that.
drive
I
it.
think.
You have to switch
NASCAR
drivers.
with a crying baby in the back seat.
The other thing I liked was that with the curling, there's 4 guys on each team, but there's an alternate, and he gets a gold medal too. He didn't throw a damn stone all 2 weeks, but he cashes in a gold medal. That's great.
Marcus,
Yeah.
what was the more monumental gold medal one?
No,
The
which
USA
was the bigger? Which was the bigger?
I know. I
medal?
have to. Yeah, that's why I'm not saying the bigger. Because you're going to tell me they're the same size, Charlie. That's why I said the more monumental one. Team USA women over Canada in hockey, or the men's curling over Sweden?
The curling, no doubt about it. I mean, I think
Okay.
a lot of people look at it and they go, because the U.S. women have been good at hockey for a long time. This is not their first gold medal. I think in the curling thing, I think people watch it. It is kind of I mean, the games are long, it seems like, but
Yes.
How long is the
people
curling
like
match?
watching it.
It feels like
easy to
baseball.
take in. It is like baseball.
How long does curling take?
Well, what? There's
And they
like
have a
11.
pitch clock.
How long does curling take?
They have like what, an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and a half that they can take to,
Jesus
line up their
Christ.
shots.
Total.
Yeah, for the 10.
teams. Because each team gets like 38 minutes.
Just do it.
There's gold
They
medal
do,
on the
and
line here.
A lot of them don't take very long. They'll take like 10 seconds and they'll throw it.
Good.
But like if they get to the end of the game and that clock's run out, then you got to forfeit. So
The deal.
it's I don't know. It's fun. I think it's still one of those things where people are only going to get into it every 4 years, and I fully expect that in 2022 the U.S. will finish probably 8th or 9th in the men's curling. But
To go on the run they did was as impressive as any.
well, they needed 3 wins just to make the playoffs, the 14 playoffs at the end, and they did that and beat Canada twice in that span. It's great.
Yeah, the one curling thing I watched, it was the U.S., and I don't remember who they were playing, but the U.S. won, and then they were like 3-5 overall or something like that.
I think that was the first game against Canada.
They've got a losing record. They're terrible. And then, a week later, it's like they won the gold. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
I would make an argument for Team USA for the women's hockey just because they'd been there time and time again. They were up 2-0 over Canada the last Olympics in the gold medal game
with 4 minutes to go or something.
right? Yeah. And just to be able to come in and beat them, the Lamoureux twins from Grand Forks were great. How about that 20-year-old in net?
Yeah.
I mean, she was phenomenal. And then, I mean, the triple deke move there to win it in the shootout. I wish it didn't have to come to a shootout, but I understand it because you don't want
Well, just
quadruple overtime.
Keep going. There's no other game. This is the last game.
That's how I feel. I mean, I realize that you want to end it at some point, and I think not all of the games were played 20-minute overtime, but all of them, were under the rules of ending with a shootout. So I guess in that sense, I get it, but play it out. It's a gold medal game. Play it out. I forgot what I was going to say, I guess, but
curling was more unlikely. I mean, the women were number 2, were they not? I mean, it was Canada, it was the U.S., so it was a bit of an upset, but curling was not in the discussion whatsoever. So.
It's worthwhile to mention also that the U.S. won its first cross-country skiing gold medal in thrilling fashion as well. Late rally in a race that only took 16 minutes. It was surprisingly watchable. So
it was weird just seeing there was one where they're down shooting the thing.
Biathlon.
Yep.
It just
that sport is insane, mainly because you got to shoot the damn gun and you got to get your heart rate down low enough so you can focus. And then if you miss a shot, you got to take a 150-meter penalty loop. And so you miss 3 shots, you got to take 3 loops. That takes you out of the race. So you can see lead changes on the last shot, and that did happen. I don't remember. There was a German guy who was winning, and he missed 2 shots and just completely fell apart, and it was great. So,
I mean, the dog show on Thanksgiving, I watched about a half hour of it. I think we all like dogs. It was good to watch. I would like to see the dogs.
I feel like they never really picked the dogs that I would pick.
That's fine.
I'm not a big dog show guy. I mean, I certainly
fuck the dog show.
I certainly like dogs, but
Stacking, that's bestiality. That's disgusting.
God damn it, Charlie.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah, it is. It is. I have to make sure I watch what I say because he'll take it.
You've got a child, Stacking. You got to be careful.
I do. Yep.
The Wolves are without Jim Butler.
It's not good.
I assume he'll be out the rest of the regular season. I assume
4 to 6 weeks.
Is that what they've said?
That's the report I saw last night, that he's undergoing surgery, and the timetable is supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks.
They are 2.5 games above the 8th seed.
Yeah, it's a perilous situation, but they're only like a couple games out of third too, right? I mean, it's pretty.
There's not a whole lot of difference between 8 and 3 right now. 8 and 4, so they could be anywhere from 4 to 7, depending on. I mean, Portland, you've got Oklahoma City, all tight. in that division. Anything else? We good?
Logan Morrison just signed with the Twins.
Good. Marcus, good.
A guy who can hit it. He strikes out some, but that's baseball right now. You're willing to give up strikeouts for a guy that can hit the ball.
Logan Morrison, 1 year, $6.5 million. Holy shit.
That'll do the job. I believe also because they'll use him as an outfielder, I assume, right?
But what does this do for Robbie Grossman? Because this seems like the Robbie Grossman spot.
Yeah, goodbye, Robbie.
Well, yeah.
You don't like
Logan
that?
Morrison, 38 home runs
Robbie
last year.
Grossman's going to lose his job?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is a $6.5 million deal. Could a vesting option could make it 2 years, $16 million. Good move here. Alex Cobb or Lance Lynn, preferably Cobb. He's the one guy I want. If they sign one of those two guys, preferably Alex Cobb, thumbs A plus of the offseason right now.
Thumbs. Give them.
Right now I'm at a B. A thumbs up to if they can pull this off right here. Man, I think Stackens maybe getting his key.
Last week.
What was that? What? Charlie.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
He is frozen up, I believe.
Yeah, he froze on mine also,
I
where
don't
he
know
had
what
the garbled
Garbly
statement, and you asked him to.
Now you're moving. You're moving again.
Okay.
What was that last week?
We didn't talk about Odorizzi, did we?
No, that was what? Yeah, Odorizzi
It was
signed
last Saturday.
or traded. Good move. Good move.
Good move. Good move. He's an arm. That's what the Twins need. Twins need arms. He's capable. Hopefully, bounce back here. He did not have a. I saw Fangraphs had a thing about how he's a high fastball guy, and that sort of didn't work out for him last year. So let's hope that gets figured out this season.
I hope Barrios starts opening day. Do you think they would go with Odorizzi? Because he's the veteran bullshit that the Twins would likely pull?
Yeah, it's possible.
Here he is.
Here comes a kid.
Kid. So what? We've had kids about, what is it?
All right, here we go. Hey,
He's a little over 2 months old. Here, look at this son of a gun.
Yep.
Look at him.
Look at that kid. Very nice.
15 pounds, 6 ounces. He's a
15 pounds.
All right,
Put him
here
in
we-
State B, the State B tournament.
He could wrestle 103.
Yeah,
Again,
so
the
say-
size of his feet.
We've had these hands and feet. What is he? If you had to buy a shoe for this kid, would you buy what? Would you buy a size
6 women's.
I think I don't know toddler shoe sizes, but he's approaching. He'll approach Shaq size feet here.
Shaq.
Well,
Yeah.
start learning the shoe sizes. Stacking, you're a father now, for God's sakes.
I know. How am I going to shop for toddler shoes if I don't know what size
Oh,
to
my-
get?
oh,
I
my
made
goodness.
the distinction. This kid is going to look exactly like you. I'm sure you've noticed this by now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep,
Very good.
he's got his dad in him. He's got well,
Literally.
So yes, that's how genetics work.
You are in him.
yeah. He's really going to look like his dad. That's for sure.
What is this kid like? What's this kid like? Is he a loud son of a gun?
No, he's very chill.
Quiet kid?
He's very chill. He likes
Does he get upset at random things like dog
LeVar
shows?
Ball.
No, we haven't gone on any rants quite yet. But
That's coming.
he's very chill. Does not like his diaper wet. That's for sure.
Yeah. Me too.
But that's
What
Yeah.
happened here? Okay, 42.
what
Is he talking yet? Is he talking?
he talks somewhat. Do you want to talk? Do you want to say anything?
Noah Stacken joins us here on the program. The SDSUs are here. I mean, hopefully he can make a summer league tournament. That'd be great.
Yes, at some point we will get down there. Kelsey was actually thinking maybe this year, but we'll for sure make it here, and we'll make it down at some point with him.
Very good. I want the same.
Dad about LeVar Ball.
I want the same picture.
No,
20
sure,
I want
I
the
can't.
same picture 20 years from now You sitting there holding them like that.
In 20 years, you never know. Maybe I'll be a grandpa by that time. No,
Whoa,
no.
let's not be. Let's not be.
no, Noah. You can't do that. No. Keep it in
4
your
times
pants.
1,260. There we go.
What a show.
Any questions? Any questions for the kid here?
You want to talk? Nothing?
Yeah, blue.
Best
Noah, how's it
analysis we
feel to
have
live in a
all day.
world where the New England Patriots have never won a Super Bowl in your lifetime and are
Oh,
there
it's
for
so
the ultimate
true.
losers?
Think about that. He's just fascinated by Michigan State, Wisconsin right now. So,
Who isn't really?
Do you feed him any food?
what?
Does he get food like applesauce type foods?
Not quite yet.
When
No,
do we get with food?
probably 9 months ish.
How amazing! So he just drinks.
God! Do you hear that?
He's going nuts. Does he just drink milk?
No, he burped. Yeah, it's just straight boob milk.
Is it
All milk diet.
Is it somewhat amazing we can live this long on just liquids, for Christ's sake?
Yeah, it's got a lot of nutrients, I guess.
Have you tried it?
No, I have not.
Have you been tempted to?
No, I have not.
You bring a little of that milk down south here, and we'll see what happens.
No comment. No comment.
Oh boy.
Here's what I want. I want the milk. I want like 1%, 2%. Mix it up. Like 5 different types of milk. We'll
Taste test. Blind taste test.
see if we can tell. Eamon obviously allergic to whole milks now
So yeah.
because he's a
It
pansy.
probably tastes better than almond milk or soy milk.
I've never tried it. I don't know. What does that taste like?
I don't know. It's probably gross. He did have a 2-month checkup on Friday, and the doctor was like, "Oh, I got to remember I'm not doing a 9-month checkup on him. I'm not testing 9-month reflexes. He's only 2."
Well, how the hell do you do that?
I don't know.
Hold on, you're saying he's 7 months ahead of schedule in terms
Oh,
of
look at this
reflexes?
kid. He's built like a tank.
Look at this.
But no,
kid.
no. I mean specifically the reflexes. Is he going to be like a superhero with his reflexes?
I
Is he
don't know. I don't
At
know.
what point do you not have to hold his neck?
He can hold his neck pretty well right now. Like I don't have the finger in back, but you just want to make sure like when like you pick him up that he doesn't crank his neck back or all, you know.
Well, get him the old Merton Hanks thing on the back of his deal. Who is it? Linebacker for the
I know
Bears.
what you're talking about.
Ken Norton.
Brian Cox? Was it
Yeah,
Brian
Brian
Cox?
Brian Cox.
Bears guy? So there we go. Very
Well,
good.
yeah, we don't want him to be like Merton Hanks and going like this all the
Oh,
time.
yeah. No Merton Hanks. All righty. We'll see you next week here.
real quick,
Yeah.
Stacking.
Yeah.
This is going to be sort of awkward, but this is something the former SDSU golf coach, his wife, I remember her saying when we were on the Las Vegas trip.
Yeah.
That apparently there is a market for breast milk that people will pay a lot of money
Yes.
to send. So if you ever are short of cash, you can she didn't specifically say the numbers, but said it was significantly higher than milk you get in the store. So you
Yes.
could potentially be like, hey, we're gonna make an extra $20 this way.
Yeah, if we have a surplus, we'll definitely try and expunge about get a bunch of money out of it and make sure that the NCAA or the feds don't find it.
Well, make sure your milk isn't wiretapped, okay?
That's very true. Very true. Sean Miller better not be coming to my door asking for any of this.
You've been coming for everybody here. So
The best thing about the FBI wiretap thing is none of us are going to accidentally take Arizona to the Final Four this
That's
year.
right.
We just don't have to worry about that as an issue.
Yeah, not anymore. All right, say bye, Noah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Again, get your monies to Mr. Stacking if you are doing the Stacking Bracket Challenge. I mean,
Oh.
No,
man.
don't say that on there. The feds are going to get me, Travis.
I believe this has got to be at least 12 years he's been doing this bracket.
Yeah, well, I'll come back with the final with the totality of that here. 1 moment.
Very good. He's been doing the brackets for many a year.
Amount of money laundered, he'll have that total when he comes
Yep.
back as well. So
45 with 10 minutes to go.
That's why he goes to the Summit League tournament each year, so he can launder the money.
that's right.
Big old scheme. Big old scheme right there.
I can't wait until he shows up to pick up his credential, and the FBI, 2 FBI agents are there. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Are you Mr. Stacken?" Yes. All right. Well, we have some questions for you. Are you willing to go downtown? He gets interrogated. He folds like a $3 suit. So yeah,
we need some guys that we know to put some sunglasses on and suits and act like FBI guys.
oh man, that'd be great.
Come to Buffalo Wild Wings like at 10:30.
Yeah.
Well, let's find Michael Tweet again. Let's find him.
We'll do something good. For Mr. Stacken, for Noah Stacken, for the dentist, and for Charlie, we'll see ya. There we go.
We'll
Lounge
see ya.
2.2 in the books. Next week, be a podcast edition of the Lounge. Then the following week, I believe we'll do the NCAA tournament bracket reveal.
Selection special. We'll be live 5 o'clock, unveiling the bracket.
No.
Maybe not.
But I will have a trivia question that day.
What states made it? What states didn't?
Yes. Yes.
What counties made it? What counties didn't? Wisconsin up by 2 with possession. We like
Gerrymandering will be involved here.
gerrymandering and Jerry Sandusky next week.